everyone. So welcome to the second part of the videos for setting up Optimizer. In the previous video we saw kind of the formulation stage, so all that we have to do here in this part. Now we're going to move to the plan area, okay, which is kind of the plan stage of the project. So first of all we go to the home ribbon, then in workflow, and then we're just going to move into the plan. So it's going to say transition to plan. Sometimes we get some errors, so in that case we will have to fix those errors, but if you follow the first video then you shouldn't have any issue. Okay, um, the first thing that I want to show you in this plan stage is that there is something here that is called plan editor, and it's kind of a new thing that appears. I'm just going to open it here. What we have here is different columns, and those columns, here we can have more in the future, are going to represent different solutions. Here we have an input model, which is kind of the input base model that we used. In the top part, we're going to see the values or the corresponding information about the planning criteria. So we have pipe cost, pressure penalties, and tank penalties, and our overall fitness. Right now we don't have anything because we haven't evaluated that yet, but we will do it in a second. And in the bottom part we have all the different decisions that we have and the decision that is assigned to it. And as you can see right now, all the pipelines are closed because this input model corresponds to the base one, so the present situation. Okay, so this is going to help us a lot just to see the difference between different solutions, okay, because we can't kind of compare them really easy. So the next step that we have to do is just evaluate that model. Evaluating means that it's going to take the fact that all these pipelines are closed and is going to use it to calculate these three costs and the fitness. To do that, we go into the home ribbon. There is something here called plan, and there is a place that is called evaluate. So we're going to just click on that one, and that's going to evaluate our initial scenario. As we can see here, then we have zero cost for pipe cost, of course, because we haven't changed any pipeline. And we have pressure penalties, certain value, tank penalties, certain value, and a fitness. This should correspond to the ones that we had in the first spreadsheet that we used the first day, okay? And what I wanted to show you here also is the usefulness of the legends. It took a while to set up those legends, but right now we can see where are we having problems. So we know that, for example, these two tanks are like having heavily problems, and then we have some of the values of pressure that are also really low. So once we can have that, then we can just start thinking on what to do. So to do this evaluation, what the program did was to run the hydraulic model, the hydraulic model, and just set up everything. All the hydraulic variables had been calculated. We can see that here in the Project Explorer. If we go to models and then we go, for example, to nodes and then junctions, we can see all the results. So we can see the demand, the pressure, how it's changing, all the numbers. If we go to tanks, it will be having the levels of the tank. If we go to links, to pipes, then we're going to have the flow and all of this. So now here we can see that we actually have some hydraulic results. Sometimes people prefer to work or to check these results in EPAnet. So if you ever want to export at any point one of the files to EPAnet, you only need to come here to project, and then you say here export active plan. So you export it and then you save the file. Okay, I'm not going to do it right now, but I just wanted to show you that you have that possibility. So this is kind of our base stage, right? And what I would like to do now is for you to use the hand design that you should have done in your first session. It doesn't matter if it didn't change much or if you put a lot of effort on it. We just want to see how it's behaving in terms of all our planning criteria. So to do that, we're going to go to project, and here there is a section that is called import. Here it says import modified plan. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to try to find one model that is hand designed. I actually have one here, which is an example. So I'm going to update that one. But you should be updating the one you did, okay? I'm going to update it here. And what I have here is a new um, a new column. It hasn't been evaluated, so it doesn't have any data for the error, for the penalties or anything like that. And here you can see the different changes. So for example, what in the base model was closed, this pipeline now has this diameter, this one has this diameter, some of them are still closed, but this is just an example, okay? So you should import your hand design, and we're gonna just see how it behaves. So the first thing will be changing the name. So only by double clicking in that one you can change it to hand designed, and that will help understanding what is this. And you need to always, before you before you evaluate a model, you need to activate it. So I'm gonna just click on the head of this column, and I'm gonna come here and say activate. Yes, doesn't matter. So here you can see the difference, like the changes that this particular solution has made. So for example, it increased this pipeline a lot, it created a new pipeline with a really big diameter, and then we have all these other options, okay? And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna also evaluate that one. So in here in project, you also can see here evaluate. Let's just evaluate and see how it behaves. So for example, this particular solution is a hand design that accomplished the objective of not having any penalties. But of course, we have a pipe cost that is quite big. Okay, I want you to take a moment to check these results in your hand design. It might be, they're not going to be the same, of course, because it's not the same hand design, but check if you accomplish to eliminate all the pressure penalties, all the tank penalties, how big is the pipe cost in comparison with this one, and how much is the complete fitness. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds to do that for you to check that. Okay. So by this time, you should have found that your hand design is at least better than the input model. What we don't know yet is how good it is in terms of a possible optimization solution. Okay. One other thing that is important, but it could be handy at some point, is, for example, if you realize that there's something else that you could have done here, but you didn't do, then you can create a new scenario that is not going to affect any of your EPAnet files. So if I want to duplicate this and make a change to see if it works, then I click on the head of the alternative, and then I come here to duplicate, and see that I just established a new one. It has exactly the same decisions, but it's not evaluated yet. I'm gonna call this one a refined design. Sorry, refined hand design. And I'm gonna change something, because I don't know, what if I realized that maybe this pipeline should be also 900 millimeters. So I just need to go here and try to select it, because I'm not sure which one is this. This one is residential 2. So if I go here and try it, one option that you have to change it is that you can just right click on the pipeline, and then here I can just change it as easy as this. So here I can close it, I can change the diameter, so I'm just gonna increase the diameter. Oops, sorry, but I did it in the wrong one. It was not on this one. I need to activate first. Always activate first a new plan. So activate, yes, and now I'll change it. So I'll say, now you know what? In this hand design, I want to have this one as a 900. And I'm just going to keep it like that. And I'm going to run it again. So I'm going to evaluate it to see if it worked, if it improved a little bit. So basically it didn't improve much. If you can see here, it doesn't have any penalties, and what I'm doing is I'm just spending more money in cost. But this is just to show you that you can, from here, you can create new plans and then do some changes directly here. And it's easier here than doing it in EPAnet, okay? So another thing that you could do is copy and paste all these plans in an Excel spreadsheet, for example. So you can just select here and say, you know what, copy all of this while you are in the plan editor, and then you could go in Excel and then just paste it, for example. And this will give you all the decisions and all the results. Easy if you want to use this in another platform. Or the other thing again that you can do is export this to an EPAnet file. So here you're gonna export the active plan. So in this case it's gonna export only the active plan, which is at this moment is refined and design. Okay, so this part, which is the planning part, is shorter. It's a matter of having all the different plans that you have developed without the optimization, and that this will allow you to just move between different alternatives. Okay, so in the next video I'm gonna show you how to do the run of the optimization and then check the results. Okay.